Okay, here goes the watch list video for wow, Wednesday, July 12th. Starting off with my equity curve. It's hard to see because I mean, every day I add, you've got another kind of compacted chart because I always start with the first trade in January. So this is my equity curve for the year, and really the only thing you can go by is the green dots. If I zoom in, you can see I got another green dot today, which just means a new high for the year for my account. Nice four-figure day today. Teamwork in the chat room is fantastic. And let's go into the watch list for Wednesday. DRWI is actually a pretty handsome chart here. You had this spike back here to $1. I want to say this was, yeah, $1.15. Today we spiked to $1.10, and then back here we spiked to $1.50, coming out of a nice base down here, nice support. So I really like this one tomorrow, especially over $1.10. If you get over this, you look to the left, you might get over that $1.15, and if you get over $1.15, we might just test that 150. So nice low float stock that was getting some attention today, looking for a follow-through day tomorrow. RPRX is in this island down here and came up and challenged. And I generally don't play stocks under $1 too often, but this is worth looking at. Nice volume spike here to almost 60 cents. And if it gets over that 60 cents, it might get up into that gap and get moving. So, I'm not in love with that one, but I want to watch it. APHB, speaking of, lower price stocks, I like this one a lot. You have this island down here. You had this spike the other day to $1.20, came right back down, but then today right back up with a high of $1.09. So I would say $1.10 could be a catalyst, and then you look to the left and you say over this $1.20. If we get through $1.10, you might get through $1.20, and if you get over this $1.20, all bets are off. Anything can happen. So it reminds me a little bit of that RPRX setup. COST just goes back on bounce watch. No trades in it today. I think it's just oversold. You can see it bounced today, but ended up closing near its lows again. So it is definitely weak, but we're going to watch it again tomorrow. See if it gives a better setup. No setups today. Fred back on watch. Fred had this huge sell-off and then a bounce. And I really loved it over 7, but it just, possible double bottom. If this gets another leg down, it's going to be on top of my list for a bounce. Like if it were to go down another 2 or 3 days, you talk about on sale, right? Because this just 8 sessions ago was over $12, and it's been cut in half ever since. And as far as I can tell, it was just on the Rite Aid deal following through, and Rite Aid still fallen. So I think Fred is overdone to the downside here. It might need another day or two, I don't know, but it goes on watch. Abercrombie and Fitch, old American icon, getting decimated here, probably close to all-time lows. But after the gap down in the big day yesterday, kind of a more compacted day today, more narrow range. I really want to catch a possible bounce in this one. I think this is overdone to the downside, at least for a trade. ZN, speaking overdone to the downside, this was, of course, it should have never been up to 690, most would argue, right? That is really extended to the upside. But now you've got 2 pretty good down days. So from 690 down to a low today of 361 before settling in at 405. Got right down into the middle of that range that we look for a bounce, and I actually called this one down near the lows today as a potential long. I believe it was somewhere down here in the 370s, I think. I actually called a 15-minute buy setup, so I'll be able to tell. Yeah, it was over 375, and it made a 30-minute move to 4 before coming back down, so there was a trade available there. Anyway, I think it could bounce nicely tomorrow. One of these days, I definitely want to have it on watch. YUMA, really big move yesterday, and then an inside day today. But look what happened today on an intraday basis. It's got this massive spike. So this is just one. If I'm short after a move like yesterday, and then today this massive move in a very short period of time. If I'm short, I'm nervous, and so for me, that makes me want to watch it for a possible setup because I know that thing can really rip. All right, so keep your eyes on YUMA, TEUM. Really big volume move in this one. Really nice breakout today. I actually called this after the first pullback today at 115 with a stop only 6 cents below at 109. It never stopped out after hitting 115 and went all the way to 173. I'm pretty proud of that call because it went up 50% after my call, and the risk was 6 cents a share. So timed that one really well. Proud of it. Big move. and it goes back on watch, possibly red to green, something like that tomorrow. That's a move that's hard to ignore. 17 million shares, big breakout. See if we can have another day. And speaking of stocks that are strong and keep moving, VSTM, big pop today. I didn't take a trade in this one. I did point this one out when it looked like this. I said, hey guys, VSTM moving up near the highs, and you had stacked catalyst, and it ended up ripping. So I know some people were celebrating that, but I'd love to tell you I made an official call and a nice trade in it, but I didn't. I did give a heads up on that kind of intraday flag break. Anyway, it's way extended here, but it's so freaking strong. Just like I talked about shorts being nervous on YUMA, you kind of have the same deal here on VSTM. Obviously, it needs to come in for a few days, but sometimes it just, what do they say? The market can remain irrational longer than we can remain solvent, right? So sometimes stocks just keep moving whether they should or they shouldn't. So it goes on watch. And then lastly, I've got this MNGA. Caught my attention because of this volume spike. I would note that what looks like a huge volume spike here was only 624,000 shares. You can see a reverse split back here, 1 for 10. So it makes this one kind of interesting because recent reverse splits sometimes get some upside momentum. This one had a move from $1.15 to $1.39. You might have a follow-through day there tomorrow after that reverse split and a low float now. So, all right, that's all I have. We're going to also add potential gap plays in the morning. Again, if you're already in the chat room, hats off to the team working there. You guys are amazing. And I'll give you an example real quick. DRWI. No less than 3 people in the room posted this after this pop, right? So I don't chase stocks, but this pop, and then all of a sudden I looked at the daily. See this volume here? I mean, you're going back several days. You can see that's great relative volume. Then I looked at the daily. Now keep in mind, it hadn't gone up to $1.10 yet. It was trading about 98 cents. So you got to picture that. It hadn't done this yet. And I said, wow, if this does get above $1, this is a really handsome daily chart coming out. You had this spike, great support below, and starting to come up on, again, I'll switch to 15s this time, starting to come up on really nice relative volume, right? So this, and a whole number of inflection points. You probably watched our webinar. Hopefully you've watched our webinar on inflection points. $1 certainly applies with that daily chart, and a whole number of $1. It certainly applied as an inflection point and got long right in this area and added over $1 and, and then sold on this massive volume on the way up. So I think I made $500 just on this move. So people that scoff at low price stocks, I don't think they understand the percentage gains you get versus an Apple or a Netflix or something in 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. You can get such nice percentage gains that is why that's the world I live in, is the lower price stocks. Now, I won't take something that's traded 40,000 shares 3 hours into the session and call it, hey guys, I just took XYZ to try to get a bunch of people to pile in so I can make some money. That we only trade the low price, low float stocks that are getting action, all right, that have high relative volume and makes sense. So there's none of that nonsense that goes on. And also, as I said, we always call our trade ideas to the room before we take them. All right? It's not one of those rooms where, hey, I just took XYZ. Now you guys fight it out. See who's going to be the last one out and so on. Keep that in mind. I'm really proud of the way our room is run. All right, anyway, we're going to add some gappers in the morning, and we're going to hopefully make some money off this list and maybe a couple gappers as well. Enjoy your evening. We'll see everybody on Wednesday.